I wasn't sure if that was just something that I was making up or not, but the way that the audiobook person pronounced her last name.
Funke?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to know. Because I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And I realized I did not look it up. Which, how often do I see names and go, I gotta look up how to pronounce that one, and just not do it?
Every episode?
Every episode of Soon to Be a Major Motion Podcast. The podcast where we watch movies that are based on books and read books that were turned into movies. I am one of your hosts, Billy Beck.
I am your other host, Codie Beck.
And as you may have alluded, may have inferred, you read the fucking title, you know what we're doing. But before we get into that, Codie, how have you been?
I have been excellent because my job is a little bit old-fashioned. I work for a financial institution, and it is one of the few that clings to the old anti-fraud measure of requiring its staff to take 5 consecutive days off in a row. And so Bill and I spent the last week, 2 weeks ago now?
Well, so when you're hearing this, it was 2 weeks ago, that calendar week. It makes sense.
Numbers. Last week, we spent the week, both of us took the week off and spent it together doing a staycation because everything is terrible and we're poor.
Please listen to the podcast so that, advertisers will advertise on us.
But we just spent our time trolling around Los Angeles, doing some of the touristy stuff we had never done. We had both separately done Universal Studios. We had not done it together, and Bill had not been since they introduced Super Nintendo Land.
Correct. It's Super Nintendo World.
Sorry. We also have a friend that works at Universal Studios in Florida, and she very kindly gave us 2 comp tickets. So we did not pay to get into the park, which was excellent.
And then we got those gift cards from your ma, so we didn't pay for food in the park.
Correct.
Margaritaville on Mom.
Hell yeah. Complete. And we also paid for our Wednesday night dinner with what was left on those gift cards.
Yeah. I wonder how they processed those at Margaritaville. Because if they didn't process that same day, she might not have gotten tipped.
So the thing is,
anyway,
I work at a financial institution, and the way that it works is you kind of just overdraw. I don't know how that works with gift cards.
True.
Because if they have an authorization code, they are entitled to those funds. At that point, it's between Margaritaville and fucking Visa.
And I don't even think she checked for IDs when we ordered our margaritas. We're not going to get hit for fraud.
Hey.
Yeah. Shit, we just talked about it on the podcast.
But no, I did actually think about going back and just being like, hey, here's $10.
She was a great server. She was.
We also went to LACMA.
LACMA was great.
It's the first time that I had ever been. Is it also the first time you had been?
It's the first time I'd been. It's the first time I've been to an art museum in general that wasn't like the little gallery on campus in college since 2009, 2008.
I think that was the first time I've been to an art museum in the U.S.
So 06 for you?
No, it would have been 2009.
9, okay.
Because it would have been the summer of 2009 when I was in Germany.
Yeah, I've done the Philly Art Museum a few times, but this was interesting. I think they had a little bit too much exhibit space dedicated to digital art, and kind of like the history of digital art and aspects of digital art.
I think the issue with that, it's an exhibit called Digital Witness. I don't know if it's going to be something that travels or not, but I think the problem was that it didn't marry the history, because there were some really cool things that were like original digital art.
Like they had old Warhol digital art on PCs of the time running the software.
Yeah.
Like they might have been the original PCs. I don't know. I don't remember the whole thing, but like that shit was super cool. And then it was like, here's a printout of a Photoshop a lady did of a forest.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't clear what exactly they considered digital art, and it also, they didn't marry what they were showing us from the present to what they were showing us historically, so it kind of fell flat, and it was also just way too large of an exhibit. It was like 3 floors.
Yeah, if they had condensed it to 1 floor, and a lot of those printed out pieces, just do big monitors, like big, like 8K, whatever fancy-ass monitors you can get your fucking LACMA. Sell one of your Picassos. But like have like this monitor is history of Photoshop, and then on each one it just shows a piece for a minute with the description, so you can take a look at like, you know, that kind of thing.
Kind of like they did with some of the videos.
And then exactly, because they had like, an aspect of digital art is movable fonts and like adjustable fonts, and they had a screen there showing examples of adjustable fonts, and some were like tech demos, and some were opening credit scenes from movies, shit like that. Like, just do that with the still art as well, and you can condense probably 5 of those rooms down into one just doing that.
Yeah.
And fuck off with the AI and the NFT shit. Ain't no one came to see that.
Yeah, that was jarring.
Like, them like proudly saying this is one of 10,000 in an NFT format. It's like, okay, so you're an art dude trying to art up the art.
I kind of wanted to take a picture of it and just be like, now is one of 10,001, motherfucker.
Right click, save as.
There was a whole wing dedicated to German Expressionism,
which was fucking cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't the whole wing, but it was like 2-3 rooms of the modern art wing.
Yeah.
Which covered like the basically 1900 to about 1960.
Yeah.
So that was the same room we had an original Warhol, one of his Campbell soup cans.
Yeah.
There were what's his name? Pollock's.
Yep.
Rothko's.
They had some Picassos in there.
They had a whole room of Picassos in there. Like from his early blue period to the crazy cubism and the big old titties.
Yeah.
Like,
art hot take, do not like Picasso. And not for the like, oh, it's not real art reason. It's more for the hatred you can feel coming off of all of his artwork.
Yeah. He's like, man, my current girlfriend has a big ol' schnoz, so I'm going to draw her with a big ol' schnoz. In fact, half of her face is gonna be the schnoz.
I don't remember. There was someone else who was also doing cubism. An artist, I can't remember who it was, but he also did a cubist painting of his, I believe, wife. And you could tell that he was doing it because he loved her and wanted to look at her. And then you looked at all the Picassos and you were like, oh, he hated them, huh?
Like, there was a lot of, like, weird, like, oh, you're showing his art. And then in the plaque, show, oh, he was also a Nazi sympathizer.
Yes.
But he kind of hung on to his art was banned coattails as long as he could to, you know, not get kicked out of the art world at the time.
Yeah.
There's some of that happening.
Yeah.
But then there was a room that was just a gigantic, like, city with 10,000 custom-made Hot Wheels cars rolling down ramps and little trains. It was called Metropolis 2, and it took 11 years to build.
It was super cool. I feel like we spent like 20 minutes just in that room.
Just looking at the cars going around the track. It was, and there's a guy standing in the middle of this thing to put cars that fall off the track back on the track so they don't gum up the works and ruin the art. Fair enough. We happened to be in the room when he went on break. And he just sits down, flips a switch, the whole thing shuts off. He limbos out from under one of the tracks, produces shoes from God knows where, puts them on, and leaves. Doesn't say a word. And this is a loud machine because there's gears and ramps and all this shit and movement. You could hear a pin drop in that room as the 25 people in there just watched this man leave. And I leaned over to Codie and I was like, that was part of the art.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah. What's the thing that our theater professor always used to say? Everything is a choice.
Everything is a choice, even if it's not.
Yep.
But yeah, it was really neat. That was really neat.
Yeah. And then we had incredible sushi that night.
Yes. Name the place. Name and shame.
It is called Roji. I believe the full name is Roji Sushi, and it's in Los Feliz.
It's on Vermont.
Yes. It is. It's really close to High Tops.
For the listeners we know, go to High Tops.
Yes. I know the owner, one of the owners, I don't know if he's the sole owner or not. He used to have a poke shop that was right down the street, and I literally went to this poke shop, no joke, 2 to 3 times a week while it was open. So he got to know me pretty well, and that shop was unfortunately sold and closed, and he just came back to LA. He had moved up to the Channel Islands for a little bit. He came back to LA. He opened this restaurant in, I think, the end of February.
Yeah, he's only been open about a month.
Yeah, and he is classically trained sushi chef, incredible. He also is big on fusion cuisine. And he has a what's the word that I want to say? He's got an individual streak. So he wanted to create a menu that no one else has ever seen and no one else will ever have. So one of the dishes that he showed us was literally a fusion of San Diego, Korea, and Japanese style cuisine. And it was incredible.
Yeah, you say show us. So we walk in and he looks up at Codie and he just points at the seats right in front of him at the sushi bar and says, sit. His head front of house guy comes with menus and he's like, hey, take your order, and he's like, no, I'm gonna feed them. And he just fed us sushi. I mean, we paid for it.
Yes.
But he just fed us sushi for like an hour and a half. Like, he ended with this, well, he ended with the octopus, and you had the
uni.
But he ended with a dish that was like fish and a Peruvian inspired like passion fruit sauce. That was unbelievable. We did order one appetizer, which was something called firecrackers, which was like a spicy tuna on a wonton, a crispy wonton.
Yeah, it was like a twist on basically like spicy tuna on crispy rice.
It was amazing. And then just all these pieces of delicious sushi, good fish from trusted sources. He was telling us while he was cooking, while he was prepping the food, that his like fish dealer like also sells to like the big shops in Japan, like 5-star restaurants and all this shit.
Yeah.
And he's got people in Japan that if he calls them one night, they'll be there the next morning with like fresh fish. So quality ingredients. I had oyster for the first time.
Yeah. Same actually. I don't think we did oysters on the cruise. I think that was...
We absolutely did not do oysters on the cruise.
We did snails. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, escargot.
Very similar.
I preferred the escargot, I think. But I wouldn't have tried oysters if he wasn't the one handing it to us.
Yeah.
So that was a wonderful experience.
Yes. So hit them up. They are in their testing phase for their liquor license, so you can't drink on the premises. You just have to like go
But I
next
think
door.
they'll put in drink orders for you next door. You just have to go get them.
Yeah. And it's also relatively inexpensive. We did the 8-piece nigiri.
Yeah, the omakase, which is
Yeah.
the chef picks what he feeds you. 8-piece was $55 a person.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly affordable.
And I was going to say, I think the 20-piece was $135 a person.
Something like that, yeah.
So...
like an incredible deal, considering what I paid when we went to Sushi Note a few years back. I think we talked about that on the podcast.
I believe so,
Go back to June, whatever episode was recorded after June 9th, 2023. Easy date for me to remember. Very exciting weekend.
Oh, you know what? I kind of just took over. And how was your week?
It was all right. Back at work. But today was a big day because our other podcast, which you may have noticed the last couple of weeks, you've had some extra episodes in your feed of The Treatment, a podcast about stories, which is a podcast we do with the third in our throuple, Mark Lucas.
He's going to believe that if you keep saying it.
Not if I keep that in. And it's the podcast where instead of criticizing how books are adapted, we try to adapt them ourselves, basically. A very sister show to this one. That now has its own podcast feed. Wherever you're listening to this, you can go ahead and type in The Treatment, a podcast about stories, and check out that podcast. We had a new episode drop last week on The Little Red Hen, which I understand how absurd this sounds, but our adaptation of The Little Red Hen is one of the creative endeavors in my life I am the most proud of. The way that we broke down film structure to put together a cohesive retelling of a very simple little golden book. And yeah, check that out. Please, please, please.
Maybe if more people check it out, the wheel will stop fucking picking me!
The wheel loves Codie. Just absolutely adores her and has picked her additions to the wheel the last 6 episodes. That we've recorded.
6 out of 8.
So, Little Red Hen is 3 of 6 so far. But yeah, that's about all I've been up to.
Well,
I did see that you were reading a book when I got home today.
Yes, speaking of German... speaking of German expressionism...
There we go. Good segue.
I was reading Inkheart by Cornelia Funke. A little book that actually was published on my birthday in 2003.
Aww. Your birthday.
No, Bill, did you know they turned it into a movie?
You're not gonna fucking believe this. Last night, after I got home from work, I just happened to have a little DVD from our local library, and I popped it in, and it was the 2008 or 9 film Inkheart, based on the novel by Cornelia Funke.
You can cut this if you need to, but I need to do a little vent really quickly. What the fuck is going on? I understand that the libraries are being defunded in general, but like, Los Angeles, I put this on hold before last week. It said it was in transit until last night. I went to the library and picked it up today. I had to get an entire fucking other library card from the Burbank library system to be able to access the audiobook of this book. What the fuck?
It's almost like the library read the book and thought, I know what would be hilarious. So before we talk about that anymore, Codie, let's watch a trailer.
Within the pages of a book, a world of magic awaits.
It was Toto that made Dorothy laugh. He was a little black dog with long silky hair.
Toto, you're gonna get me in trouble.
This is the story you have been waiting to hear.
Maybe you'll find it, him.
Find what?
That book you're always looking for.
What if you had the power to bring a book to life
Inkheart.
simply by reading it aloud?
Dustfinger. Traveling fire juggler. Magical powers.
Your voice brought them out of the book.
But what if one book you brought to life
I'm here to warn you. You should be more careful.
took you to another world?
It's just like the illustration in the book.
It's hideous. Man's got no taste whatsoever.
Take it to a dungeon. Lock him up.
Unicorn. Flying monkeys. What is this place?
You want to go home? I'm here to help.
And how do you intend that we escape?
The mighty storm?
Now, to get back home, they must escape from the book. Inkheart.
I prefer a story that has the good sense to stay on the page where it belongs.
9 years ago, a guy named Mortimer was so good at reading that 3 characters from the book appeared in the real world and his wife was sucked into the book. Now, he's dragging his 13-year-old daughter around Europe looking for more copies so he can read his wife back out of the book. Alongside his daughter Maggie, Dustfinger the fire juggler from the book, his aunt Eleanor, and some kid from Arabian Nights, Mortimer finds the original author who rewrites the ending of the novel to Deus Ex Machina everything back to normal. Mostly.
Wow, that's a little different.
Is it?
Yeah.
So, peek behind the curtain. Normally when I do my reading, or my research on the movie, it will be shown to me differences. It's part of what I run into often. I only know of one. And to be fair, I read this book in like 2006, and I remembered fucking nothing. So...
This book fully was outside my wheelhouse. I remember seeing it probably in my like 5th grade library. Picked it up, thumbed through it, didn't catch my interest because it wasn't fantasy enough, and I was deep in my fantasy phase at that point. And I was
it didn't have a map at the beginning? That was the issue?
Yeah, I mean...
No map?
Kinda, yeah, actually. I was an insufferable child. I'm sure that will surprise no one.
Were insufferable child?
For those of you listening, I am currently flipping Bill off with both hands. So what is the difference that you...
So the big difference that I know of is at the end. With the fate of... I am going to call him Duskwalker. So many times tonight. The fate of Dustfinger.
Yes.
In the book, I know it's not clear if he makes it home.
He does not make it home explicitly.
Ah. So clearly, he does not make it home. In the film, he absolutely makes it home. You see him go home.
So, in the book, it is pretty clear to me, at least, that they are setting him up to be a villain in the sequels.
That's a way cooler idea than how the movie ended.
Is her mom a main character?
Risa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can she talk?
No.
Cool.
I was real fucking... Because if I started getting into details and that, I'd still be talking.
Fair. So, Dusty Boy. Is he like low-key in love with Risa?
Yeah, it was weird. Because the movie shows him flirting with her before the movie reveals who she is.
The book does the same.
Yeah. To his credit, the flirting kind of stops when he realizes.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Ah.
He deliberately hides the fact that he knows her husband.
He hides that. Wait, he hides it from her that he knows?
Yes.
Oh, like the first time we see her in the real world again, because we get her in flashbacks. But the first time we see her with him, I was like, is that fucking her mom? And then she pulls out like a picture that she drew of the family together, and he's like, oh, that's your family. I know him. And then he like fucks off.
No, he knows the whole time, and he's doing it low-key to spite Mortimer as a punishment for him being trapped in this world.
Oh, what a dick.
Yeah, he is the most interesting part of this book, and we get so criminally little of him.
I feel like we get a lot of him in the movie. Does he join them throughout? So the way it plays out in the film, he comes across Mo when he's looking for a copy of Inkheart. He finds a copy and then runs into Dustfinger, and they have a conversation where Dusty's like, bro, I'm warning you, Cornelia, Capricorn. Okay. So before I continue, when I read this as a kid, I remember reading the first 4 or 5 chapters and just not being able to pick it back up until I was literally in another country with nothing else to do but read that book. And part of it was the character names. They just don't stick. None of the character names stick in my head. Even Eleanor is spelled weird. But,
do you know why Eleanor is spelled weird?
Because this book was written in German?
Because it is the name of one of the author's kids.
Ah.
I believe. Yes, the dedication. It is one of her kids, and she says, "Thank you for letting me use your name, even though it wasn't for an elf queen."
Debatable, played by Helen Mirren. So he runs into Mortimer in this town with the book, and he's like, "Capricorn's coming. I'm trying to warn you. I can help you. Like, let's work together on this." And Mortimer's like, "No, you stay the fuck away from me. I'm taking my daughter and we're leaving." And then Capricorn shows up I almost said Italia because the book was written in German. He shows up in Italy, Capricorn does, with Dustfinger, and is like, sorry, man, I tried to warn you, but you wouldn't help me, so I had to go to him. Now we're here, like, let's figure it out. And that's when, like, you know, the plot starts. And then they take them to the castle bit. The shit happens with Risa and Dustfinger. Christ, it's gonna keep happening. And then Dustfinger breaks them out, and then they Wizard of Oz their way out of there. And then Dustfinger's kind of with them the rest of the movie. He's on their side. And then at the end, he's rewarded and sent back home.
Okay, so Risa is not brought in until I'd say like the second act.
Yeah, that's about right.
Dustfinger is clearly introduced as someone who we are not supposed to trust. And it's like immediately clear that he's gonna fucking turn on them, or has already turned on them. The rough outline of the story in the book is Mortimer, or Mo, as Maggie calls him.
Why not Maggie? I knew Maggies. I don't know any fucking Maggies. Sorry.
He has a copy of Inkheart because it is his last remaining link to his wife, and he wants to try to get her out of it if he can. You don't find that out until, fucking 400 pages in. But he has a copy of Inkheart, which is why Capricorn is going after him, because when they do actually get captured later and bring him the copy of Inkheart, he burns all of them. Because he wants to make sure no one can go back, because in his mind, that world sucks. Here, we've got guns and money.
Yeah. Nope, straight up.
And so I'm gonna go a little spoilery here for our ending segment. That's part of what turns me off about this book, is there's so much back and forth and going to a place and spending time there and then fucking off and going somewhere else and then fucking off to a different place and then fucking off to a different place and then going back to the first place. And it's just inconsistent. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like you're getting anywhere. Another thing that bothered me, and I am going to preface this, she's actually 12 in the book. I understand that our primary narrator is 12 years old, but oh my god, she's so fucking dumb. She's so dumb. Like, not to bring up the books that shall not be named, but Harry levels of fucking dumb.
Oh.
Like,
she's not that dumb in the movie. At least I didn't think so.
She has no self-preservation. The only thing she cares about is her dad. Which, okay, fine, that's cool. But when there are armed men, 4 armed men with guns, and your father is agreeing to go with them, you don't fucking... A 12-year-old girl is not going to do anything against them. That's why your aunt is holding you back, you piece of shit. She's not doing it to be mean to you.
You don't remember being 12 and thinking you're invincible?
But, I mean, yes.
I mean, I'm half joking, but...
Yes.
But also, there's a bit in the movie, because she does, like, a similar thing. It's when they first got, right?
Yes.
They do a similar thing, but the goons are holding her back. And she's struggling to try and help her dad, and her dad is like, fucking chill, bitch. And, what was the goon's name? Balto?
Basta,
thank you. Bastard.
Yes, I kept thinking the person was saying bastard in the audiobook.
How I will remember it. Basta, like, threatens to cut her, and then Dustfinger is like, nah, man, you promised you wouldn't hurt her. And, like, she hears that, and that's when she muscles free, because they promised they wouldn't hurt her, and tries to protect her dad. So they at least, like... I feel like the film kind of didn't necessarily change the plot too much, but the characters.
The other thing is that all of the other people in the book are stupid. Like, the only people in this book that are not stupid are Dustfinger, Farid, the 1001 Arabian Nights boy, and I'm gonna say Mortola or the Magpie, which I would be shocked if she's even in the movie. Is Capricorn's mom in the movie?
No.
Okay.
There is, like, an older lady with great tits. Who's like the dungeon keeper lady, but I don't know if that's her.
No, she's not the dungeon keeper. I mean, they might have squashed her down to that role. Is Darius in the movie the other reader?
The guy with the stutter.
Yes.
No, that all happens. He reads his goon squad out of the book and tries to read out, like, monsters like minotaurs and the crocodile from Peter Pan and shit, but they all have writing on their faces because he's got a stutter. He's not good at reading.
So in the book, he's too afraid, and that's what ruins his ability to read. So he actually brings out Mortola, or the Magpie, who is Capricorn's mother, and he actually fucks her up in that he messes up her legs so that they hurt all the time. Mm-hmm. He reads out Flat Nose.
Fucking Flat Nose.
And he reads out Risa by accident.
Yeah. Because she just happens to be in there.
Exactly, yeah. Like, he's not trying to bring her out. He just happens to do so. And he's a fun little character. Now, Eleanor does something that is so dumb. I'm like, I see, this is a family resemblance. So...
Dumb runs in the family. Dumb and love of books.
So, when Meggie has been captured the second time, and... the author has been captured, and it's Farid and Mo and Eleanor that are just chilling in the forest waiting to go rescue Meggie. Eleanor goes to the police, which, to be fair, she has been trying to do the whole time.
Yeah.
But she goes to the police, and the policeman is like, yeah, we'll go ahead, we'll take care of it. And then she doesn't have to give him directions to the hidden fucking... village where all of these people are, and I'm like, bitch, you didn't recognize you didn't have to give him directions to the hidden village?
Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. I'm trying to think of the same that worship the
burn
shadow.
Pages?
Yeah, some of those that work forces are the same that burn pages. There we go.
Yeah. And I was just like, again, I understand Maggie is 12. She's gonna make some dumb decisions. But it's like, girl, listen to the adults around you, like, sometimes. Sometimes they're saying things so that you don't get fucking shot or stabbed or have your throats. Like, listen.
Coming from a place of privilege, that white girl. Thinking the world revolves around her. Oh, I should probably get my notes out. Actually, don't have a lot. Like, I wasn't sure what to talk about with this one, theme-wise, because it's just kind of like, and I think you've made it clear that your thoughts are meh on the book. It's a meh story that takes place in a world that feels like it could have real fun. Like, the ability to read something out of a book.
Yeah. So, the bulk of this, I was listening to the audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
When I did finally get my hands on the actual book, today, each chapter has a little heading that is a quote from a book that is relevant to what you're about to read. The bulk of them I saw were, like, Sword and Stone. There was Huckleberry Finn, other Mark Twain works. Peter Pan was in there a couple times. And there are some fun moments where it plays with, like, so you've got Dustfinger, who, is from the world of fairies, and he meets Tinkerbell, and he's like, I can't understand what you're saying. Like, I speak 3 fairy languages, and I don't know what you're saying, but you eat milk, so it's that, like, fun little defamiliarization. It's like, I know what you are, but I don't know exactly how to handle you.
There's a fun thing with that, because you mentioned, like, Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell obviously doesn't appear in this, but we get the croc from Peter Pan.
Yes.
And I wonder, like, if certain book references were changed for the film version, because I believe it was Warner that did the film. What is the book that Maggie takes from Eleanor's that belonged to her mom, that belonged to Risa?
There isn't one.
Okay. How do they escape the village the first time?
So
they just fuck off?
Basically, they escape. Dustfinger lets them out of the cages. They escape. At this point, her dad has read from Treasure Island and 1001 Arabian Nights, which is where Farid comes from.
Both of them happen in the film.
Yeah. They're in the cages. Dustfinger lets them out, and they kind of have like a little heist sneak through the parking lot. They escape. The car tire blows when they're, like, just barely out of the compound. And so they're like, all right, and they abandon the car, and they just, like, climb up through the hills and escape that way and get to an Italian seaside town.
Okay. How does Maggie, then, find out that she's also a silver tongue, that she can also read things out of the book?
She has been captured for the second time with the author. And it's, like, hinted, because as soon as she sees her father, or hears her father read aloud for the first time, and, like, sees it happen, she's like, I wish I could do that. And so she kind of starts trying, and it's a lot of, like, hints of she's actually causing, like, minor weather events to change, or she's like, oh, did I smell that thing from the book? But she doesn't actually manifest anything until she's been kidnapped for the second time, and she's reading Peter Pan, and she accidentally summons Tinkerbell.
Okay, so it's Tinkerbell that she...
Yes.
Okay. So I was doing a little bit of research. The film was produced by New Line Cinema.
Enemy of the pod, New Line Cinema.
And New Line Cinema, when the film came out, but not when it was being filmed. So I'm actually curious what the actual timeline here is. But, when the film came out, New Line Cinema was owned by Warner, and it was distributed in the U.S. by Warner.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, the original film of The Wizard of Oz was Warner. Give me one moment. No, it was MGM. So I had a whole theory going, but then I realized the key piece of information of my theory was wrong. So then I have no theories as to why the film decided to go... We're going to make The Wizard of Oz a key point of this. So when they first get kidnapped, arrested, absconded with, in Italy, Maggie is given a copy of The Wizard of Oz. That was her mother's copy. when they have to escape that village the first time, they summon the Twister from The Wizard of Oz. And there's actually a nice little cutaway gag where one of the henchmen drops into fucking Kansas and the house is gone, and then like her uncle M or whatever his name is just like sitting on a porch in a rocking chair smoking a pipe as like this henchman drops out of the sky. Very funny bit. And then she's reading that copy aloud when she summons Toto. You hear that in the trailer that we listened to earlier. And that's how she finds out that she can read things out of books.
Okay.
I'm wondering, did rights change hands? Because I think Universal has the rights to... Or does Universal only have the rights to Wicked? I don't know who has the rights to The Wizard of Oz anymore.
Is it not public domain at this point?
The film rights.
Oh, film rights.
Well, I guess the book might be public domain now, but it wasn't 20 years ago.
That's true.
So, because it was 19... Or no, it was 18 something.
Yeah.
Maybe it was public domain. Yeah, maybe it was... They didn't want to do Tinkerbell because they didn't want to have to fight Disney lawyers.
Yeah.
Because you never see Dorothy. The house doesn't look like the house from the 39. Toto is as the dog is described in the novel. I wonder if they did that just because it was available.
That's possible. So the things that she brings, she's got the Tinkerbell. She also brings out the Tin Soldier from Hans Christian Andersen, the Tin Soldier. And then they successfully send him back into a happier story. And that's how they realize they can do it. And then she reads from Inkheart and summons the Shadow. But throughout the book, she's reading other books. One of the things that I thought was actually really sweet was her aunt, Eleanor, buys her a copy of Shel Silverstein poems. Specifically, I think, Where the Sidewalk Ends. Because she gives it to her and she's like, it's not fair that you and your father have to be afraid of anything coming out of these books. There are no bad characters in this book. So you'll still get to hear him read aloud.
Beg to differ. As someone who spent a whole fucking semester in college just accidentally performing plays based on Shel Silverstein characters for children, not every poem in that book is safe to read. For the most part, sure. Don't read out the kid from the Giving Tree or he'll bleed you dry. That little fucking vampire.
So, another thing that was actually pretty fun is there were a lot of Princess Bride quotes. She doesn't read The Princess Bride, but there were bits and pieces that were the chapter headers.
Interesting.
From that. Some other ones that were in here. We've got Watership Down.
Oh boy.
Hans Christian Andersen, his classic fairy tales, Peter Pan, The Children of Green No, which I don't recognize, Fahrenheit 451.
Ooh, Kurt.
The BFG.
Hey, that's a thing.
And The Witches. The Borable Trilogy. Do not recognize.
I wonder if the ones you don't recognize are German.
Possibly. The Neverending Story, The Princess Bride, The Wind in the Willows, The Secret of Platform 13, The Jungle Book, which is the fire bit, The Arabian Nights, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, Where the Wild Things Are, Where the Sidewalk Ends, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
We could do a year just on adaptations of books referenced in that book.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the film's 20th anniversary, we should do the year of Inkheart. We'll take 3 months doing Lord of the Rings.
Oh, God.
Take forever doing those.
It'll take me that long to read the fucking books.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of... This book was written with a lot of love for the printed word. And a lot of... You know how, like, Hollywood loves to make movies about actors and actresses?
Yeah.
And, like, disparaging actors and actresses. That's kind of what she's doing here, is she's, like, disparaging authors a little bit. Like, her character of Signor Fenoglio is kind of a shithead, and I love him a little bit.
Oh, did he come off super fucking horny for Dustfinger?
Kind of, but, like, more like, oh my god, this thing I created is in the world. Like... This thing that I wrote down is literally in the world?
So, that scene, the what are their fucking names? The father and daughter. What's their last name? Something with an F. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Mo and Maggie.
I don't think you learn their last name in the book.
Oh, whatever. Eminem are talking to Senor Radio, and they're explaining to him, like, no. Your character, he's out in the plaza right now. And while they're in talking with him, Farid and Dustfinger are talking, and Farid sees some local, like, fire jugglers. And he's like, all right, bet. And, you know, like, spits in his hands and starts fire breathing, doing his shit. So they lead Fangolio. What's his fucking name? Fenolio. See, the names in this fucking book, I swear to God. They lead Fenolio out into the thing. And the camera, like, pans in to this slow motion shot of a shirtless, not jacked, like slim fit Paul Bettany doing this fire juggling, and he's like sweating, he's a little bit wet. Sexiest man alive in that moment. And the very next thing is Fenolio is like, oh, just as I imagined him. You imagined him sexy? And like the next like whole scene, he is absolutely horny for this man. He's like, oh, you're perfect, you're a dream. And he's like, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to know you. Don't talk to him. He doesn't want to know how the book ends. Oh, you don't want to know that you die?
Maggie is the one that tells him he dies.
Oh no, he just fucking drops the bomb on this guy. Breaks his heart, and he's like, don't worry, everyone dies at the end of their story. And he's like, no, but I'm a real man, I can make up my own stories. And the way they get around that in the end is Farid holds on to the fucking ferret's name. Or it's a Martin, I think, in the... Gwyn. Hangs on to Gwyn so that he can't die protecting Gwyn in the book when he goes back to the book.
Yes.
Which is a very sweet moment from him.
Yes. So, I kind of like that scene where Maggie is like, what do you mean you don't kill the villain? He's like, he's a great villain! I'm not gonna fucking kill him! I'm like, absolutely!
It's a trilogy! I've got 2 more books to write!
That's, as someone who writes, and also as someone who, you know, plays D&D, you don't want to kill your fucking villains, especially if they're good! You get attached to them! The worse they are, the more you like them!
Yeah. So then, at the end of the novel, do they kill the Shadow? Does she Deus Ex Machina everything back to normal?
So, kind of, but not really. Because what they do is the shadow kills Capricorn, and then they dissipate the shadow into all of the things that it killed. But all of the way they phrase it is basically all of the like innocent lives that it had stolen, it turns back into them. So like all of a sudden in the real world, there's these fucking gnomes and pixies and trolls and people, and
I think that dialogue is spoken in the book, but we don't see evidence, or in the film, but we don't see evidence of that per se.
Yeah.
I was starting to tune out at that point.
And then the two bad characters, quote unquote, that get away are Basta, and it's not explained why he doesn't disappear, and the Magpie. And Signor Fenolio gets sucked into the world of Inkheart.
He goes willingly. They send him at his wishes.
So in the book, he is the trade for basically bringing the shadow out.
Ah.
Because it's not made clear what the previous trades are for her, for when she brings Tinkerbell and when she brings the Tin Soldier. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a really odd thing about this story. That kind of bothered me, because they establish immediately, the plot hinges on, like, the status quo as we enter this world hinges on the fact that if something comes out, something must go in.
Yeah.
And that is, like, a level of stakes. That affects Mortimer's decisions through the first, like, 2/3 of the book. And yet, how many times does something get read out and we don't see what gets sucked in?
So, the other thing is, it doesn't have to be an equivalent exchange, because the reason that it's 3 the first time is Dustfinger, Basta, and Capricorn is because it's Maggie's mom and the 2 cats that were on her lap.
Ah.
So it doesn't have to be an equivalent exchange. It's not Full Metal Alchemist rules here.
Yeah, but like there are moments when you don't see what happens. And then the movie also does moments where like you see a henchman drop into Arabian Nights, you see one drop into Kansas.
Yeah.
Third example.
When Farid gets read out, it is one of the random nameless henchmen that gets, because they're like, wait, where did this guy go? And he's like, you will bring him back. And he's like, I told you I can't. The magic system of this book, if it were a little more clear, it has really good solid roots, because it is interesting to be like, okay, if you had magic powers but you didn't know if it was going to cost you someone in your life.
Yeah, like it's such a good hook.
Yeah.
And when I turned on this movie, my big complaint about the last episode about Golden Compass was it opened with narration explaining the world, but like taking the mystery out of it. So much detail. This also opened with narration explaining the world. But the way it did it was enough information so you knew there is a very specific type of magic, but not enough information that you know the extent of it and what it cost. So the narrator is saying things about, like, there are some people born in this world called Silver Tongues, and when they read, something incredible happens, and what existed before only on page becomes real in the real world. And as you're seeing that, you're seeing Mortimer read to baby Maggie, I think it's Little Red Riding Hood. Check out our episode on Little Red Riding Hood on The Treatment. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Search The Treatment, a podcast about stories. He's reading Little Red Riding Hood, and you see the hood appear on, like, the clothesline in place of a shirt. Something like that. And then it just cuts ahead to then looking in the book. You don't know what has happened yet. You don't know the big thing that happened. You don't know, like, you learn as the story progresses how little Maggie knows about this. And we, the audience, are finding out the details as Maggie's learning them.
Yeah.
And it's so much better done that, like, as soon as it started, I was like, okay, I'm in. I like this world. I love me some, spoilers, Brendan Fraser. He's perfect for this role. Let's fucking go. And, like, I was hooked in so hard just on the concept. Just on the idea, on the world. And then, like we said earlier, the story kind of is like, eh.
I'm sure it was groundbreaking in 2003. I can think of 3 different media properties that, with varying levels of success, have done this sort of the author creating the world thing.
I mean, there's a classic play, 6 Characters in Search of an Author.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't new either. This was, like, that play, when it debuted, they rioted in the streets because, oh my god, the characters in this play are looking for their playwright. What the fuck is going on? This is madness. Devil.
That was, like, 1912?
Something like that, yeah.
It was real early. Yeah, Once Upon a Time has, like, 2 whole seasons that are about the author and how the author fucks shit up for them.
Yeah. Stranger Than Fiction.
Stranger Than Fiction.
Third example.
There's even a fucking SpongeBob episode that does this, I think.
Well, with the pencil.
Yes.
With Doodle Bob.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, this is something that's, like, kind of ingrained. And all of those examples we gave were pre, at least the movie coming out. Maybe not the book. The SpongeBob and Stranger Than Fiction, I think, were after. But, like,
Once Upon a Time was definitely after.
Once Upon a Time was... Oh, yeah, it was. It was for sure after. I couldn't remember the other example. But, yeah, it's something that, like... It wasn't necessarily new, but, yeah, it was definitely more rare when the book came out.
Yeah.
But for the movie, it was like, okay, I get the conceit pretty early. It's a conceit that I love personally, so I was in.
Yeah.
But the story didn't take me on a ride that I wanted to go on. It's like getting on a bad roller coaster.
It's a reverse isekai.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it's, like you said, it's a tame little roller coaster.
Yeah.
And the writing itself is not bad. This is going to sound terrible. I literally looked up to find her ethnicity or her nationality because I was like, this person feels German, and I feel like that's racist.
Yeah, like, she wrote it originally in German, and I think she translated it herself into English.
Probably.
I do remember that from when I read it, it being weird to read, and I couldn't quite place it, and it was probably the English as a second language of it all.
It feels like... Alright, this is going to be a very specific reference that's going to date this podcast. There's a girl on TikTok. Her father is Italian and her mother is German, and the whole conceit of her TikToks is that she pretends to be her German mother and makes fun of her. And that is what this book feels like.
Yeah.
It's affectionate, but that's what this book feels like.
Yeah. So you might be interested to know then that for this film, Funke herself was one of the producers.
Okay.
So, keeping that in mind.
Yes. Let's get into some movie details.
Let's get into some details. This was directed by Ian Softley, who also directed pictures such as Hackers and K-Pax.
I know one of those.
Hackers?
Yes.
K-Pax was that Kevin Spacey is an alien. I saw it when it was like 2000-ish. I saw it because he ate a banana with the peel on it in the commercial, and then we rented it from the library, from Blockbuster, and I did not like it because it was not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a weird alien movie, but it was like some mystery or something. I don't remember.
Ew.
The screenplay was written by David Lindsay Abaire. Speaking of theater school, he wrote a play and its film adaptation, Rabbit Hole. He also wrote Robots, the animated, I think it was Blue Sky Entertainment, like Sony, early
God.
Sony animation. He wrote that. He wrote Rise of the Guardians, which is the one with Santa Claus and not the Owls one.
Yes.
And he wrote that like 2013 Oz the Great and Powerful.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is his deal with fucking isekai and reverse isekai?
He likes it, man.
Okay.
Don't yuck his yum. Mortimer Fulchart, that's his last name. He's played by Brendan Fraser. We know him, we love him from The Mummy. He won his Oscar for The Whale. Dustfinger was played by stupid, sexy Paul Bettany. When Fenolio sees him for the first time, he says, "Great Chaucer's beard." He played Chaucer in A Knight's Tale.
Yep.
He was also in the Da Vinci Code, probably a future episode of this pod.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Eleanor was played by Helen Mirren. She won her Oscar for The Queen, and she should win more for her work in the Fast and Furious franchise.
She's beloved. Love this woman.
Absolute queen. She's great in this. She and Fraser are great, and Bettany. Actually, a lot of the performances are really good. They do their best with not the best story, but the dialogue is good. So like it's fine. Fenolio is played by Jim Broadbent, friend of the pod from Chronicles of Narnia. He was also in Moulin Rouge. He won his Oscar for Iris. Capricorn is played by Andy Serkis.
You know what? Sure.
Lord of the Rings, the reboot of Planet of the Apes. He plays a human in The Batman 2022. He plays Alfred, the Robert Pattinson Batman.
Oh.
The weirdly good Batman movie.
Sure.
It's long as fuck, but it's pretty alright. Risa, third time appearance on the pod, Sienna Aguirre.
Oh my god.
We talked enough about her in The Time Machine and Aragon.
Oh god.
But her sexy ass is back. Meggie is played by Eliza Bennett. She was in Nanny McPhee, and she was on the TV reboot of Dynasty.
Okay, I recognized her from Nanny McPhee.
Yeah. And Rafi Gavran plays Farid. He was in Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist and A Star Is Born.
Know him from Infinite Playlist.
And little cameos from friend of the pod, Steve Spears. He plays Flat Nose. He was also in Aragon. Couple Aragon crossovers here. And Paul Bettany's real-life wife played his character's wife in this, Jennifer Connelly.
Paul Bettany is married to Jennifer Connelly?
At least he was when they filmed this in 2007.
Goddamn.
Mm-hmm.
Punching above his weight class.
Now, there's a name on that cast list that jumped out to me when, like 3 weeks ago, I found out this movie existed. And the reason it jumped out to me was I did not realize he was still making movies in 2008. And that's Brendan Fraser. Shortly after she published this novel, Cornelia Funke sent a copy to Brendan Fraser saying, "I had you in mind when I wrote this character."
You know, I felt that.
She literally wrote it in German for Brendan Fraser. And then when they were casting, even Fraser was like, "Hey, if I'm not right for it, you are under no obligation to cast me." Of course they fucking cast him. He's great.
He has such dad energy.
He's such a fucking dad. And there's something about dad-ass Brendan Fraser with a messenger bag full of documents jumping across rooftops that just feels right. Paul Bettany is not who she had in mind. For Dustfinger, when she was writing it, she had in mind a cross between Viggo Mortensen and Daniel Day-Lewis.
I'm just mulling that over.
Yeah, it's... They would not have been able to get Mortensen for this, I don't think, or Daniel Day-Lewis for that matter. Like, I think Paul Bettany was good casting.
Yeah, I feel like there was someone else that was like good at playing weird little freak at this time. And that's kind of the vibe that Dustfinger has in the book, is just kind of like skulking around the edge of the narrative, like smartest character in it that knows he's in a book.
Yeah. I feel like he needs to be wormier, and Mortensen's too sexy.
Yeah, like...
She was probably watching a lot of Lord of the Rings at the time.
Yeah. I think Hidalgo came out in like 2007, and he's real hot in that too.
Well, she was writing it in like 2001, 2002.
That's true. Bettany is a good shout, but I think he's also too hot. Like, Dustfinger needs to be inherently untrustworthy, and I don't think Paul Bettany is.
He's got scars on his face. Like, Well, the film's a bad example because they definitely change his character, and I think that's the issue. Is it sounds like in the novel his character is more untrustworthy. In the film, he's like a scoundrel with a heart of gold, and it sounds like in the novel he's just a scoundrel.
He is the best kind of villain. And again, I am basing this purely on pattern recognition, but he's the best kind of villain because he's a little bit right.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And
like, he's right to be aggrieved.
And like, Mortimer's also kind of a little bitch about it.
Oh yeah.
But like, he's got Kevin Owens energy. Like, it doesn't matter what I do to you because you hurt me first. And that's the vibe that I give him. And he's like, I wouldn't be doing this to you if you hadn't done it in the first place, so it's really your fault.
Yeah. Good villain shit.
Yes.
Speaking of villains, also considered for the role of Capricorn, Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, as Capricorn. I don't think it would have worked.
Alan Cummings.
Oh, fuck, you're right.
Spy Kids, man.
Not that Andy Serkis did a bad job, because he very much didn't.
Yeah.
That man knows how to go over the top. Fucking troll-ass Gollum, you know? Like, he can do it.
He can chew scenery and still not get it stuck in his teeth.
Yeah, he's that kind of actor.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah, Rowan Atkinson would have been a whole different energy.
Yeah.
So you may be wondering, hey, Billy, you mentioned that Cornelia Funke wrote this in German. You mentioned that she was a producer on this. Why didn't she make the film in German? And that's because she didn't like the German way of acting. She was apparently a real fucking stickler. She didn't want to sell the rights at all unless she could be a producer on it. And
that's fair.
It took her ages to decide who she wanted to produce alongside her. And before she settled on New Line, she was also looking at David Heyman, who produced a little adaptation called I Am Legend, and another series of adaptations called, I don't know if have you heard of this, the Harry Potter franchise?
No, never heard of it.
It was between that guy, Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, who produced Transformers, and a little episode of the pod called Stardust, and Deborah Forte, who produced Tuck Everlasting, and our last episode of the pod, The Golden Compass. So, like, we could have had 3 distinctly different versions of this film, depending on who she picked just there. So it's interesting, like, she had her fingers in at that level of producing this film, that it tells me that this is the version of the movie that she wanted to produce.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, of those, the only one that I would be like, yeah, I could see it going well would be, like, David Heyman.
Yeah, because, I mean,
I
Am Legend, the alternate ending is better, but that movie ripped in theaters when I saw it. I loved that movie.
And the series that shall not be named is a good... the movies do a good job of blending that kind of real life and fantasy setting.
Considering last week we rode 2 rides at Universal based on that film franchise, and there were still lines to get into them. Mm-hmm. There's a whole area of that park dedicated to that film franchise, because it's not based on the books, it's based on the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we would have had the 2nd and 3rd had they gone that route.
Yeah.
Which, yes, this is a trilogy. I think there might be a 4th one now. I think she went back to it.
I think you might be right.
And when I say now, I mean like in the last, like, 3-4 years.
I believe you are correct. Like, I want to say it was like 2023.
Oh my god, 24. Inkheart, Ink Spell, and Ink Death were 03, 05, 07. And then The Color of Revenge, 2024. It looks like she released it, like, online, and didn't get, like, starting in 2018, and it didn't get published till 23, 24. And it was released, it was translated in English by someone else. It wasn't translated by her. Anthea Bell translated the... Oh, shit.
She apparently...
No, she did Ink Death, never mind.
It has not been released in English yet.
Okay.
or it's still being released in English, but basically she said she was going to be publishing the 4th one in 2018. It was still not published in 2020, and then it was basically serialized online in 2021.
Yeah. She did it during lockdown and during COVID, which, honestly, good for her, man. Hey, everyone stuck it, because Europe treated it better than we fucking did. Hey, you're stuck at home. Let me just release this sequel to the trilogy you grew up with. Give you something to do, and give me something to do. And you know what? Good for her.
Yeah. And apparently it takes place 5 years after the events of the final book in the trilogy. Yeah.
The only other thing I have are some criticisms. I've said I'm pretty meh on the movie. It hit me in a good mood last night, so I gave it a 3.5 on Letterboxd. I might have given it a 3 today. That's kind of where it lives with me. That apparently is pretty favorable. Did not do well critically. Kirk Honeycutt of The Hollywood Reporter said, whatever made the German novel Inkheart by Cornelia Funke so popular that it got translated into 37 languages is nowhere in evidence in its film version. The main problem is the general concept itself, which that last line I disagree with.
Yeah.
I think the concept is really interesting. And the other one I pulled was Bill, and I pulled it because this name is amazing, Bill Goodykoots of the Arizona Republic. This is actually a positive review. Inkheart is entertaining enough, if not always easy to follow. And if it does nothing else, at least it may inspire kids to read, if for no other reason than to help make sense of it all. And this was a generally positive review. Which, I disagree. Like, I think in and of itself, I had no problems following the story through the film. Because like I said, I couldn't remember shit from the novel. Not even like the basic conceit. Could not remember.
Yeah.
So I think the movie's a little bit better than that. It's harmless. It's kind of fun. It's Brendan Fraser when we weren't seeing a lot of him. The performances are a lot of fun. Helen Mirren's fun to watch. Andy Serkis, no scenery in that teeth, but you see him chew it all. Sean Spears and his flat-nosed bit. Not Sean Spears. Is that his name?
No, Steve Spears.
Steve Spears. Sean Spears is a wrestler.
Yes.
Steve Spears in his little role. He's funny whenever he's on screen. There's good bits. There's annoying bits, but there's good bits, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah. The writing isn't bad. I didn't dislike reading it. So it sets itself up as the importance of authors and the importance of reading and having books is important and being around books is important. But it kind of doesn't have any substance to back that up. It's sort of like, what if the thing you loved the most could also take other things away from you? It just, maybe when I first started reading this, I told you, I was like, man, just from the first couple chapters, I can tell that this would be the kind of book that baby me would have been obsessed with and the worst about. And then I kept reading and it didn't deliver. And I'm going to go ahead and say this, and I'm sorry, it's going to get me flagged. Leave us lots of reviews, send us lots of angry emails.
Just please listen to the pod.
This to me felt very similar to the Court of Thorns and Roses or Throne of Glass series, obviously without the sex.
Oh, there was hardcore fucking all over this movie.
I'm gonna throw a book at you.
Which one?
This one.
Oh no, that's a big one.
But fluff, it's fine, but it's trying to be more than it is, and the premise is not fulfilled by the rest of the book, and the premise is more interesting than the rest of the book. And it's not bad, it's not good, it's inoffensive.
So having read the book, I can give a brief review myself. This is remembering nothing but that summer. Reading that book at home with access to the internet and a TV and video games, I would have rather done the other things. When I've got an hour to kill in Thailand and have none of those other options, I was thoroughly enjoying reading this book. That's my review of the book. If you have nothing else to do...
It's just, I'm looking over at my bookshelf right now, and I'm looking at specifically the fantasy young adult section, and I've got Marl Fox by Brian Jacques, and Tagarung by Brian Jacques, and the whole Wild Magic series by Tamara Pierce, and even the, oh my god, our last fucking episode, his Dark Materials.
Yeah.
Even that trilogy. And all of those are like, I'm not saying that they're high literature or high art by any means, but like, I remember specific moments from them and wanting to sink my teeth into those books again. And I just don't. I feel like I would come away with, like, biting into a macaron. It's just air.
So, one of the first things we said about this was that we both had the same immediate reaction to being introduced to this world of, oh, there's some fun we can have here. And then being disappointed by the story. Looking at our bookshelves in this room, and we're going to bring back an old segment. We're going to bring back audience participation. So, look at your own bookshelves in your rooms, listener. And what I'm going to ask you, and what I'm going to ask you, Codie, out of the books, if you could read one thing out of a book, only one thing, and it has to be on one of our shelves, what would you read out of a book?
Oh, that's a juicy one.
Right? It's hard to think of, because we've got cookbooks on the shelves. We can read ourselves a good meal. My personal pick, I'm looking to my right here as I sit, and I see a little book by Catherine Applegate.
What the fuck are you reading out of the animal?
Called The Invasion. I am reading the morphing cube out of the book. Because let's be real, we gotta start fighting fascism soon, kids. Might help if some of us can turn into animals.
Meanwhile, I'm looking over at the science fiction shelves.
I've got Hitchhikers over there. Shit, I could have read out The Heart of Gold and I went with the fucking morphing cube.
I'm seeing We. Don't want to read anything out of that. Martian. A Canticle for Leibowitz. Fuck that.
Yeah, maybe get off the dystopia shelf.
Because, I mean, of course, there's the obvious answer of just pulling out the money from any of these
so
books.
Easy. That's like the first thing that Cornelius does in the movie. Cornelius? Capricorn. Why do I think his name is Cornelius? First thing that Capricorn does when he has access to a real silver tongue is read out money.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, he's doing that to test the power, but
yeah, because he has his goal. But it's the first thing you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get more creative with it. Got To Kill a Mockingbird over there, we can read out a decent lawyer.
I mean, I do have Wild Magic from Tamara Pierce. So, like, as long as they retain their magical skills in this universe...
Well, Dust Fingers can still, make fire happen.
He cannot in the book. He has to use matches.
Oh, no, not in the movie. He still retains it.
I mean, hang on, I gotta double check.
We do have a copy of a Stephen Sondheim musical on the shelf. And I will leave it at that. So, what's your final answer here?
I don't think I'm going to be able to give a final answer right now.
I locked in Morphing Cube before I even looked at that shelf, so deal with it.
I'm going to have to...
Oh god, you have the whole fucking...
Uh-huh.
Oh
I
no.
Sure do.
She just remembered she has her D&D books on the shelves.
I got all of them, baby. Oh, I'm absolutely gonna fucking read out a magical item from D&D.
Have you decided which one? While you're deciding, it's fascinating that, like, we are three stooging ideas of things to pull out of these books out of our mouths. And we're coming up with so much more fun things, for us personally at least, than what the novel and film provided us. I think we've made the point.
Can I read out a wish spell?
If it's on a scroll, sure.
I want a spell scroll of wish, baby.
There you go. So you've managed to transmute the game into whatever I want, I guess.
Yes.
You know what? That's that smart thinking that the Mortimer didn't have. Fuck.
I feel like there should be a corollary, though.
Okay. Do tell, because I have to prep the final segment of this episode.
What are you willing to give up?
Oh.
What would devastate you most if you lost it?
You.
Not Toby?
You. I found Toby behind a dumpster. I had to win pizza to land you. I'm not going to be able to pull that off again.
Yeah, I mean, Luna, Toby, you. Those would be the options that I would be most devastated to lose.
Oh, how am I gonna do this?
Carefully.
Yeah, I think the what can you lose thing is like the easiest thing to answer about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like she kind of hit the nail on the head with
wife.
Yeah, wife. Sorry, I'm
wife and cats.
I have to like. Actually, will it work if I do this? Please work. Oh fuck yes. Okay, good. So I'm doing a little prep on the side that I meant to do today and completely fucking forgot. So I think I have nothing else to say about Inkheart.
Nope.
Do you have any final thoughts on adapting YA specifically?
I mean, we didn't do the final boss of bad YA adaptations.
Divergent?
Correct.
We'll get there.
So I feel like I'll save my thoughts there, but it's hard to adapt YA well if you don't trust your audience. And you can get a decent adaptation. I wouldn't say that Inkheart is bad, but you also need to have real solid source material. And I think of the ones that we've explored here...
Are we going to count Harriet the Spy in there? Because when they go to the first book fair and he finds a copy of Inkheart, she's looking at a copy of Harriet the Spy on the fucking shelf. And I'm like, fuck yes!
See, Harriet the Spy, I would argue, is successful.
Yeah.
But
even going back to, like, older episodes, not just a season, like, our Diaries of a Wimpy Kid and our Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret's, and...
Hunger Games,
which might be the best example of a YA adaptation that we've covered.
Yeah.
But I think you hit the nail on the head with trusting your audience.
Yeah.
Because kids may be kids, but kids, especially now, are way smarter than adults give them credit for.
Yeah.
The access to information for kids is so high. And, like, even when we were kids, watching, say, Harriet the Spy in the 90s, our film knowledge was more than when the filmmakers were kids, because we had a longer history of film and adapting stuff into film than our parents did, than the filmmakers did at the time. So we had a better grasp of that language of film.
Yeah. And
that language of story. And kids now even more so. Well, the TikTok generation and everyone's on fucking YouTube. Like, you kind of have to change the game when you adapt YA shit now. Check out our episode on The Little Red Hen.
On the Treatment.
On The Treatment, a podcast about stories. Wherever you get your podcasts available now. But yeah, I think trusting your audience to get it. Because...
It feels like Inkheart trusted the audience, but at like 25%.
Inkheart trusted the audience to get it, whereas Inkheart trusted an audience of 13-year-olds to get it. Golden Compass barely trusted an audience of 6-year-olds to get it.
Yeah.
Forgetting that the people that are going to see this movie are people that have read the books and already get it.
Yeah.
Or are of the age of the people that read the books and got it were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's trusting your audience.
Yeah. I think we can close the chapter on...
Close the book, if you will, on YA.
For now.
And you know what? We just spent a good 2 months talking about young adult fiction. And that was coming off the heels of a whole season on Roald Dahl. I think you and I are adults. We legally drink. We legally vote. We can get drafted into the military. Let's talk about something more adult.
Okay, what do you have in mind?
So, is there... And when I say adult, I don't mean pornography.
It's pornography.
We would need to do a visual podcast for that, and I don't want to do the work. So, in terms of, let's say, R-rated filmmakers, mature films, who better than Martin Scorsese? The man directed fucking... I almost said The Godfather. No, he fucking didn't. The man directed Goodfellas. The man directed After Hours. The man directed Raging Bull. And the reason I mentioned After Hours specifically is because that film from 1985 is the last film Martin Scorsese directed that is not an adaptation or a biopic. He's only been adapting things for 40 years. So we have 17 options. And since The Treatment, a podcast about stories, is now available wherever you get your podcasts today, we're going to adopt the Spinning Circle of Stories. We're going to rename it The Spinning Circle of Scorsese. So we've taken these 17 films that he directed that are based on books, and we're going to spin this fucking wheel. for the next 4 episodes. And whatever it lands on is what we're covering. Codie, are you ready?
I am ready for the score season.
The score season begins with the first entrant from the spinning circle of Scorsese. And it is the 2004 Howard Hughes biopic, The Aviator, based on the memoir Howard Hughes, The Secret Life. So Codie, you're going to learn about a crazy rich person, and I'm going to see Leonardo DiCaprio play him.
We'll both be unhappy.
I am happy this landed on The Aviator, because this is one of those that I know I should have seen by now and have not.
Really?
Yeah.
I just assume that, like, once you hit, like, 22, all of the Martin Scorsese is just downloaded into your man brain.
You'd think, but I'm looking at this list, and I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 17 on here. Well, at least one of these I had never even heard of. So, yeah, we're gonna dip into some uncharted territory for me, at least. And it's going to be weird, because some of these books are based off of our autobiographies. Some of them are memoirs. Stuff like The Wolf of Wall Street is on here, right? Mm-hmm. The movie Casino is based on, I think, a series of articles called Casino, Love and Horror in Las Vegas. A bit of journalism, rather than novel, as far as I'm aware. But
Did you go to journalism for that?
But then you have Cape Fear, based on the novels The Executioners. Like, there's going to be we have The Last Temptation of Christ, a novel that's on the shelf. We could have brought fucking Jesus out of a book, and I went with the fucking morphing cube, and you went with D&D, Codie. There's a Bible on there. We could have conjured God. All right, so we figured it out. We're doing The Aviator next. So that's your homework for the next time, but before you perfectly legally borrow or download The Aviator, I'm sure, shoot us an email at soonmajorpod@gmail.com and let us know what you would read out of a book on your shelf. And if we like it, we'll read it out on the pod. You can also check out our socials at No, that's not right. Our socials at Linktr.ee/soonmajorpod. You can check out our other podcast, The Treatment, a podcast about stories.
I don't think you've mentioned our other podcast.
Our other podcast, The Treatment, a podcast about stories. Can you tell I'm fucking proud of that project? Like, I legit think we're doing really good shit on that podcast.
Just a smidge.
Like, I'm really proud of it. So please check that out wherever you get your podcasts. But until next time, I am Billy Beck.
I'm Codie Beck.
And did I actually find a way to end this thing properly?
You may have.
Did we figure it out?
It only took us, 2.5 years.
Fuck. We gotta get Mark on this pod.
Are we... Wait, did we miss our 3rd anniversary?
Our 2nd anniversary? Yeah, we missed our 2nd anniversary. It was like last week or something.
Oh.